Yeah.
What do you think is a feature that most of your customers aren't using enough? Like, what's the hidden gem in Klaviyo that you're like, guys, if you just got in and use this, it's gold.
Yeah. I mean, first, it's hard not to, obviously there's like a bunch of stuff. Like I could not be more excited about Composer and like besides of like creation, but also like analyze all the flows that are working, not working. I think we keep seeing that for the average brand, there is still a big unlock in more flows, more personalized flows. Like just, there's more opportunity to reach out to customers in like closer to one ways. And so it's like not a super exciting one, but like flows continue to be where there's missed potential KAB for a brand. So those are super excited about this new social stuff. I think we see people under optimizing. I think where brands will see going forward, you know, we've seen that as we've launched service, like, industries in some ways thought of this as like there's marketing, there's service, those things are the same relationship, but they're somewhat distinct. I think we've seen more and more actually, as you think of those as like one through line through everything, you actually can drive a lot of new revenue to in those, as soon as you're talking to customers and what would have been thought of as the service relationship. And so I think that's another one where I think we're just expecting more consolidation over time and more people thinking about like, oh yeah, I have an agent that's talking to consumers and that's very good at like saying, or knows that you've bought X, Y, and Z, but you haven't bought Y, and you're likely to like that product a lot. So I think we'll see an intersection there too of like people trying to use both those. So I think long way of saying more flows. I think we need to make that easier. Composer will do that. More integration between just like the full customer journey, and we also need to make that easier.
And in terms of the flows, is your train of thought the less flows and the simpler flows done well is better than a really complicated, trying to get closer to that one-on-one version for a customer, but can get very complicated and complex? Which direction would you go?
Probably more towards the latter, but I think there's a real caveat that the world we live in now, complexity is hard to manage.
Yeah.
And you have to invest the time to create the flows. You have to make sure they're working. You have to make the content for them. It's our job to make those as easy as possible. I think, one-to-one is complex. There's all of a sudden there's a lot more going on there and you need the brand control and you need to make sure that people are getting what you want. But that is, I think we've all experienced it. Like that is actually how consumers ultimately want this to work is they want it to be treated like humans. They want that to feel very personal. That does mean complexity for the brand, but I think we're more able to get there with AI, but also just like, when I think to talk about more flows, that complexity is typically valuable for the consumer. It's value ultimately as well as like generating KAV as well.